At the end of this Module 6, you are expected to sing and dance selections of African music in appropriate pitch, rhythm, style, and expression. B. Explore ways of creating sounds on a variety of locally found sources suitable to chosen vocal and instrumental selections. C. Produces artwork that is locally assembled using materials that can be found at home, guided by 21st century techniques. D. Describes the influence of video games as part of the technology in the 21st century. E. Assesses physical activity through team sport. F. Applies basic skills in playing volleyball. G. Minimize risk of injuries by applying correct techniques in volleyball. H. Discusses the existing health-related law. Enlightens the implication of the existing health-related law in protecting people's health. J. Follow existing health-related law, and K. Sincerely study the impact of present health trends, issues and concerns. African music. Performance practice. Week 6 Day 1. Second quarter. Performs selections of Afro-Latin American and popular music in appropriate pitch, rhythm, style, and expression. As showed, African music has an enormous contribution with the progression of the universal music. Thus, this module aims to let the students to explore more on the understanding of the African music and to perform which has relevancy to the mentioned music. Music is an important part in the daily life of the African. Singing, dancing, hand clapping and the beating of drums are vital to many African ceremonies, like birth, death, initiation, marriage, and funerals. African music came from the combined outcome of different culture and musical diversity of the more than 50 countries of the continent. Some types of African music which have been vastly influenced by global music are Afrobeat, Apala, Axe, Jeet, Jive, Juju, Kwasa Kwasa, and Marabi. There are also Latin music which have been influenced by African music. Some of types are reggae, salsa, samba, soca, wur and zouk. In terms of African vocal music, there are several forms that has surfaced due to its wide-ranging styles, and convention which exemplifies uniqueness. Some forms are maracatu, blues, soul, and spiritual. Beside African vocals, an enormous variety of musical instruments has been categorized, which are as follows: idiophones, balafon, rattles, etc., chordophones, musical bow, kora, etc., membranophones, body percussion, talking drums, etc., aerophones, flutes, horns, etc. As showed, African music has an enormous contribution with the progression of the universal music. Thus, this module aims to let the students to explore more on the understanding of the African music and to perform which has relevancy to the mentioned music. Activity 1. Sing or dance performance. Choose a song from the following. Waka Waka Bee, Kumbaya. Play a musical instrument or a -1 while singing the song. Plan the choreography or movements to accompany the song. 4. Record the performance on video. Rubric indicator for dancing performance. Are synchronization steady beat concentration and focus. Activity 2. Making improvised African instruments. Make improvised African instruments using dried vegetables, animal hide, wood, strips of roofing metal, tin cans, bamboo, etc. Create a rhythmic, harmonic accompaniment for any song you know using these improvised African instruments. Record by creating a video while playing the improvised African instrument. The rubrics indicator are pitch, rhythm, tone quality, diction and expression and style. Second quarter. Week 6 Day 2 Influence of Technology in the 21st Century on the Evolution of Various Forms of Art. Describe the influence of technology in the 21st century on the evolution of various forms of art. A video game relies on player involvement, encourage group cooperation and problem solving. Creating a video game takes a lot of technical know-how, as well sense of design and art. Video games are truly a work of art as it exemplifies the creativity of people who created it and the people who uses it. Today, younger generations are very capable on using technologies as they grew up in a digital world. Technologies that are being used lately ranges from educational games and mind twisters, to building and construction games, to ones that entail physical interaction by the users, sports, fitness, dance. Then there are the tremendously popular games of strategy, war, science fiction, and mythical worlds that employ amazingly complex and realistic graphics, motion, sound, and other special effects. There are online tutorials and guides which are available on sites like eHow, Instructables, and YouTube. Plus, there are available programs that can be downloaded and used immediately, with no need for prior knowledge on coding or web development. Video game is a kind of digital, visual and interactive experience. It is an interactive activity where a group of friends spend their time during leisure. A video game relies on player involvement, encourage group cooperation and problem solving. Creating a video game takes a lot of technical know-how, as well sense of design and art. Art activity. Activity 1, Video Games Creation. The class will be divided into groups of 5 to 6 students each or can work individually. 2. Individuals, groups will create their own video games using any simple software that is available or can download from the internet for free. 3. Save your finished video games in a storage device or in a Google Drive that your teacher will be providing. Activity 2, Question and Answer. How has computer technology contributed to the development of video games? Name some of the most popular types of video games today. On what kinds of devices can such games be played? Can a young person like you create your own video game? If yes, how? Active recreation. Team sports. Second quarter. Week 6 Day 3. Engages in moderate to vigorous physical activities for at least 60 minutes a day in and out of school. Participation in active recreation is a universal concern. Fitness should always be taken into account if you are to perform them effectively and efficiently in order to minimize injuries. Knowing the importance of a healthy lifestyle such as engaging yourself to team sport such as volleyball can greatly influence wellness, become strong and productive members of our community. Volleyball participation in sports-related recreational activities is one of the best ways of achieving a healthy lifestyle. Participation in playing volleyball can either be recreational or competitive. The important thing to keep in mind is that regular moderate participation in team sports such as volleyball will help improve your health. Since volleyball involves repetitive overhead motions, such as spiking and blocking, players are prone to overuse injuries of the shoulder, susceptible to finger injuries, ankle sprain, anterior cruciate ligament (ACL) injuries, and patellar tendinitis. It is more important to know the right and basic skills like passing, receiving, serving, attacking, digging, and blocking to minimize injuries. Activity 1. Stop or go directions. Read the information below. With the use of crayon, shade the box before each number with green if the statement is true. Shade it red if the statement is false. Participation in playing volleyball is considered moderate if it is done 3 to 4 times a week. Passing, receiving and shooting are some of the basic skills of volleyball. Usually, injuries in volleyball can be treated non-operatively with bracing, physical therapy, or home rehabilitation exercises. One of the benefits of engaging to active recreation is that one can strengthen social networks and community identity. Volleyball is a team sport invented by Dr. William A. Naismith in 1891. The setter is the main contributor to the offense of the volleyball team. There are 7 players on the court playing volleyball, including the libero. Serving the ball is used to put the ball in play. 9. In volleyball, the first referee has the authority over all other members of the officiating crew. 10. The volleyball court has a size of 20 meters long and 10 meters wide. Activity 2, which is which direction, encircle the letter below which you think is incorrect. Explain why did you choose it on the space provided. A. Volleyball, spiking B. Basketball, dribbling C. Football, heading D. Baseball, smashing Y. A. Participation in active recreation is everyone's responsibility. B. Vigorous physical activity is always recommended for a beginner. C. Active recreational activities are recommended for the promotion of health because they are enjoyable and effective in keeping the body in motion. D. Stretching warm-up exercises is a must before playing any sport such as volleyball. Y. A. Volleyball, ball B. Baseball, racket C. Badminton, shuttlecock D. Basketball, ring Y. A. Sports health benefit, improve quality of life. B. Sports physical benefit, relaxation, rest, and revitalization. C. Sports emotional benefit, reduce risk of depression and anxiety. D. Sports social benefit, lowers blood pressure and arthritis pain. Y. A. Moderate participation in volleyball, 3 to 4 times a week. B. Vigorous participation in basketball, 5 times a week or more. C. Moderate participation in football, 3 to 4 times a week. D. Moderate participation in tennis, 7 times a week. Y. Ways of managing health issues, trends and concerns. Philippine AIDS Prevention and Control Act of 1998, Republic Act 8504. Recommends ways of managing health issues, trends and concerns. Second quarter week 5 day 4. This module discussed a law that will help shelter people's health. This law aims to secure not only the well-being of the people but also to keep their rights. In the progress of seeing this module, learners will recognize more about our existing law related to health trends, issues and concerns. Moreover, they will also learn to apply proper practices, life skills, personal responsibility and follow law that may help them protect their health and others' health as well. Philippine AIDS Prevention and Control Act of 1998 RA 8504 has three important provisions to emphasize. Article 3 – Voluntary HIV testing services with counseling and written informed consent are available. Article 6 – Confidentiality of HIV testing, and a person's HIV status should be maintained. Article 7 – Discrimination against people with HIV is against the law. AIDS is an illness that can be controlled and prevented as stated in RA 8504. Prevention necessitates every Filipino to be totally mindful and take full responsibility of their actions. Diagnosed persons must also not consider their illness as the end, but rather a chance to positively influence others to do things that are fair and right. On the first day of Jeff at duty, the supervisor told him that HIV testing was compulsory or else he will not report to duty anymore. The nurse at a clinic saw his childhood friend getting tested for HIV. He immediately logged on to FB Messenger and sent stolen photos of him to a group chat while getting his blood drawn for his HIV test. Carla's neighbor told her that she had HIV. Carla did not waste any time and told all her friends in the community about it. Don's brother passed away because of HIV. The proprietor of the funeral parlor declined to provide burial services to Don's brother. Regardless of her tiring schedule, the HIV counselor took the time to provide post-test counseling to Brianne, explaining the meaning of his HIV test results and discussing possible next steps he can take. Marianne told her teacher that she had HIV. Her teacher told the principal. The principal instantly expelled her from school. Jerome told his team leader that he had HIV. His team leader asked him how the company would be of help to him. Gemma's HIV test result was positive. As soon as she arrived home, she immediately reveals her HIV status and health condition to her spouse. Rod found out that his best friend sent himself to HIV testing center. Rod was curious and concerned to see the HIV status of his best friend. That is why he went to the health professional in charge to ask for the result. However, the health professional refused to give him the HIV test result. One of the students in grade 10 had HIV. The school administrators learned it. One day, the guidance counselor set a date for a surprise HIV test for all grade 10 students. Activity 2, True or False. Nobody can force a person to get an HIV test. HIV testing involves pre-test counseling only. The 1998 version of RA 8504 indicates that people less than 25 years old need the consent of their parents or legal guardian to undergo an HIV test. HIV testing is not compulsory and required. A person with HIV/AIDS can be denied in admission to schools. All medical professionals should strictly observe confidentiality in handling the medical information of persons with HIV/AIDS. A person with HIV/AIDS has to disclose his/her HIV status to his/her spouse or sexual partner at the earliest time. People with HIV/AIDS are not allowed to avail a decent burial service when they die. A student who is interested to get an HIV test must talk to his/her parents or legal guardian to obtain an informed consent. Anybody who see or hear unlawful acts being performed by others should inform people of authority. Remember, honesty and integrity are essential for success in life. All areas of life. The good news is that anyone can develop both honesty and integrity.